Well, a big breakthrough today in Parliament. The government has accepted the opposition's proposal for a discussion on Manipur under the Rule 167. Now, a date given by the government for this discussion on Manipur is 11th of August. Now, remember earlier the opposition, earlier in the day today, in fact, offered a middle path solution to the government to kickstart the discussion on the Manipur unrest. This issue has held up Parliament, led to repeated adjournments as well. The opposition earlier had been insisting that the discussion on Manipur be held under Rule 267, which provides for suspension of all business to take up key issues. But finally today they were willing to forego this demand. Instead, they put the proposal that the discussion take place under Rule 167, and this evening the government has finally accepted that. So there will be a discussion on Manipur violence. Meanwhile, today in Parliament, in the Lok Sabha, the centre's bill on control of services in Delhi was passed. Home Minister Amit Shah defended the government's bill, hitting out at the opposition for defending corruption for the sake of their alliance, the India alliance. The opposition MPs walked out of the House just after the Lok Sabha cleared the bill. This after a day of heavy exchange of arguments and counterpoints. AAP's lone MP in the House was also suspended for throwing papers. Shortly after the bill was passed, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal hit out, saying the Prime Minister had promised full statehood to Delhi. The BJP has stabbed Delhi in the back.
महोदय, मैं प्रस्ताव करता हूं कि विधेयक को पारित किया जाए। किसी की चिंता है, ना देश की चिंता है, ना जनता की चिंता है। अपने गठबंधन को बचाने के लिए सारे लोग यहाँ आए, चाहे कांग्रेस हो या बीजेपी, जो भी आए, उनका मकसद दिल्ली की जनता की सेवा करना था। अगर सेवा करनी है तो झगड़ा करने की जरूरत नहीं, मगर अधिकार चाहिए तो झगड़ा करने। ये अध्यादेश और बाद में अब जो बिल में कन्वर्ट हो रहा है, वो विधेयक लेकर मैं आया हूं। ये संपूर्णतया संविधान सम्मत है और केवल दिल्ली की जनता के कल्याण के उद्देश्य से बनाया गया है। ये दिल्ली है, दिल्ली, और ये दिल्ली हमारा दिल है। तो ये दिल्ली के साथ बार बार क्यों छेड़खानी किए जा रहे हैं, ये मैं आप लोगों से पूछना चाहते हैं। जब चुनकर नुमाइंदे आते हैं, चुनकर जब लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली बनते हैं, तो क्या उनका लेजिस्लेट करने के अधिकार नहीं दिया जाएगा, सब छीन लिया जाएगा? ये लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली को खत्म करते हुए ये ब्यूरोक्रेट्स पे सारे जिम्मेदारी, सारे अधिकार ब्यूरोक्रेट्स पे सौंपा जाते हैं। ब्यूरोक्रेट्स फैसला करेगा सरकार कैसे चलेगी, ये क्या सही होगा देश के लिए?
ये ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬਿੱਲ ਹੈ, ਇਹ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਸ਼ਾਸਨ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੁਪਰੀਮ ਕੋਰਟ ਦਾ ਆਰਡਰ ਆਇਆ, ਸੰਸਦ ਦੀਆਂ ਸ਼ਕਤੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਇਹ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਬਾਹਰ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਬਿੱਲ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਚੁਣੀ ਹੋਈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਹੈ, ਉਹਦੇ ਅਧਿਕਾਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਮਜ਼ੋਰ ਕਰਦਾ, ਔਰ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬਿਊਰੋਕ੍ਰੇਸੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਣਚੁਣੇ ਹੋਏ ਅਧਿਕਾਰੀ ਹੈ, ਸਾਰੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਬਿੱਲਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੰਟਰੋਲ ਹੈ, ਉਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਮਜ਼ਬੂਤ ਕਰਦਾ।
Let's go across to Megha now for more. And Megha, finally a day of debate in Parliament. Now the Delhi Services Bill has been passed. Also the lone AAP MP has been suspended.
Well, finally, yes, Gargi, I'm sorry I couldn't hear the last part of your question. But yeah, finally on the 11th day, you saw some actual work, concrete work happening inside the Parliament. The bill that came in, which was the Delhi Ordinance Bill, or the Delhi Services Bill, as we are calling it, was put to debate. It was discussed. People from all political parties have participated in it, those who were part of the Lok Sabha, and finally being put to vote, and the bill then being passed. So yes, after a long time, some proper legislative business in the proper manner, I would say, because bills are being passed without being discussed and debated actually when half the opposition is not there. But today everybody was there, and in their presence it was voted upon. So yes, one good day at the Parliament. But apart from that, I think it's also very important for us to point out here, Gargi, that while all of this was unfolding in the Lok Sabha, a much more important thing was happening in the upper house, which was that today in the morning itself, the opposition had come sort of prepared to make an offer to the the government. And while in the first half you didn't see signs of it, but by lunchtime, a little before that, this offer had gone in from the side of the opposition, the India parties, to the leader of the house in upper house in Rajya Sabha, that is Mr. Goel. The offer was very clear that they wanted to break the logjam. They wanted an uninterrupted debate on Manipur, and so they have offered a middle path, is what the opposition says. And a middle path is, what is the middle path? The middle path is that till this time, till today in the morning, they were still adamant on having the Manipur discussion in a situation where every other legislative work of the Parliament of the upper house is suspended under Rule 267. But now they have dropped this one condition of theirs, and they have also dropped the condition where they had been saying that we will have a discussion only when the Prime Minister comes and gives a statement, and that statement of the Prime Minister precedes the discussion. So now both the demands have been dropped. What they are now saying, that we are offering a middle path. We still want a discussion on Manipur, and that discussion is going to happen under Rule 167. The government, we just had a chance to speak to Mr. Amit Shah. He was leaving from the Parliament. He said, we've accepted it and we've offered a date of 11th of August. That's the last day. So I'm suspecting, Gargi, that the opposition will say that, you can't be keeping Manipur on the last day because it's something so important. So there will be another set of argument. Whether this will go through or not, that remains to be seen. You can't be absolutely sure that they've given 11th of August as the date, that it will be the date.
All right. Thanks so much, Megha, for joining us with all those developments. Staying with news of Parliament, Union Minister of Information Technology Ashwini Vaishnav today tabled the new Data Protection Bill. The new law claims to strengthen the digital rights of Indians, but has sparked concerns about allowing the central government and agencies unfettered access to citizens' data. Opposition members have demanded it be referred to a parliamentary panel, and privacy activists and various stakeholders have criticized the bill's exemption for the central government and its agencies. We spoke to IT Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar on this.
अब इस बिल में जो डिजिटल पर्सनल डाटा प्रोटेक्शन बिल है, ये पर्सनल डाटा प्रोटेक्शन बिल से कैसे अलग है?
तो ये जो नया बिल आया है और हमने आज पार्लियामेंट में इंट्रोड्यूस किया है, बहुत कंसल्टेशन के बाद बहुत लोगों के साथ मिलकर हमने डिज़ाइन किया है. बहुत ही स्पष्ट रूप से ये लोगों के डिजिटल राइट्स, डिजिटल डेटा प्रोटेक्शन के उनके अधिकार को स्ट्रेंथन करता है. और जो मैं अंग्रेजी में कहता हूँ कि सीमिंगली कॉन्ट्रडिक्टरी ऑब्जेक्टिव, हमारे इनोवेशन इकोनॉमी को भी ये एक तरह से रफ्तार या इंकरेज करता है. और तीसरे, जो सरकार के जो लेजिटिमेट रीजंस टू एक्सेस पर्सनल डेटा हैं इमरजेंसी रिक्वायरमेंट में, जैसे मैंने कहा टेररिज्म के इवेंट में वगैरह, उसको भी हम डिफाइन करके ले आए हैं. तो ये बहुत ही एक सिंपल बिल है, बहुत ग्लोबल मॉडर्न बिल है.
जो आईटी एक्सपर्ट्स है वो उनकी ये चिंता है, कंसर्न है कि ये कानून जो है वो आरटीआई कानून को डाइल्यूट कर सकता है. इसकी भी बहुत चर्चा है.
देखिए, ये सब जो उनके इश्यूज हैं पार्लियामेंट में डिबेट करें, डिस्कस करें, ये अच्छा रहेगा. सभी ऐसे प्रश्न के लिए हमारे पास अच्छे उत्तर हैं, लेजिटिमेट उत्तर हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आरटीआई में बड़ा स्पष्ट रूप से ये है कि आरटीआई का मतलब है राइट टू इंफॉर्मेशन. कहीं नहीं लिखा है कि राइट टू पर्सनल इंफॉर्मेशन. तो ये कहना कि आरटीआई को डाइल्यूट किया गया है एकदम सरासर गलत है.
तो क्या प्रोविजंस हैं इसमें? कितनी पेनल्टी का प्रावधान है?
बहुत प्यूनिटिव कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस हैं. अगर कोई प्लेटफॉर्म मिसयूज करता है या लीक करता है या डेटा ब्रीच हो जाता है, उस प्लेटफॉर्म पर हर डेटा ब्रीच के लिए 2050 करोड़ तक का फाइन हो सकता है. तो आप समझिए, अगर 1000 लोगों का डेटा लीक होता है, 2050 करोड़ टाइप्स 1000 कितना बनता है? तो ये काफी प्यूनिटिव कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस हमने डाले हैं ऑन द प्लेटफॉर्म.
I oppose it on 3 counts. It is in complete contradiction to the fundamental right of privacy upheld by the Supreme Court. The bill will apply with full force to all non-governmental organizations.
Excessive centralization of all the data. Everything will be controlled. It's a complete insult and hurting the spirit of the federal, we have to resist the federal structure of Government of India.
Given the vast number of objections you have heard, Mr. Chairman, I would urge that the bill be sent to the Standing Committee for proper examination as a new bill, because for the 3 different versions do not match, and they have been done without consultation with the committee whose mandate it is.
सर, लेजिस्लेटिव कॉम्पिटेंस के बारे में किसी भी मान्यवर सदस्य ने प्रश्न नहीं उठाया है। जो प्रश्न उठाया है कि क्या ये फाइनेंस बिल है, क्या ये मनी बिल है या जनरल बिल है, मैं एकदम स्पष्ट तरीके से, माननीय मनीष तिवारी जी ने कहा था अभी, मैं स्पष्ट तरीके से सदन के सामने आपके समक्ष रखना चाहूंगा कि ये एक जनरल बिल है, ये मनी बिल नहीं है। इसके ऊपर पूरा डिटेल में डिस्कशन होगा।
Union Minister Meenakshi Lekhi today in the Lok Sabha made an open ED threat to an opposition MP. The minister's speech was interrupted by an opposition MP saying the government has the enforcement directorate with it. The minister responded saying, "You stay quiet or the ED might come to your house." Listen in.
और ये बिल लाना पड़ा क्योंकि दिल्ली की जनता जवाब हमसे मांगती है।
Is my humble question to this government of India right now. The bill is completely undemocratic.
So she said it though while laughing, but the opposition has raised serious objections. AAP MP Raghav Chadda said the BJP's union minister openly threatens opposition MPs with ED raids on the parliament floor. This abuse of power is alarming. Now, it's been 4 days since the violence broke out in Haryana's Nuh, which then spread to Gurugram next to the national capital. Overnight also, there was more violence with 2 mosques in the Nuh district being targeted, but no major damage took place. 14 of those accused of violence have been sent to judicial custody today, but the families of those who were killed includes a Hindu, Muslim and Sikh, and all these families are united in their grief. Here's a ground report.
Grief transcends all differences, at least in the aftermath of the communal violence that has gripped Haryana. All that is left of the home of 36-year-old Shakti Saini, one of the 6 killed in the violence, is a grieving wife and his 4 little children, helpless after the death of the family's sole breadwinner. Saini, reportedly a Bajrang Dal worker, was killed by a mob of over 300 in Nuh, a day after the clashes over a right-wing yatra in the communally sensitive area.
देखो जी, प्रशासन पुलिस की तो हम नहीं कह सकते, लेकिन प्रशासन की इसमें काफ़ी जो है ढील रही है। जो प्रशासन ने पहले से ही अलर्ट नहीं थी, पुलिस प्रशासन की व्यवस्था नहीं की थी, तो इसमें प्रशासन की बहुत लापरवाही रही है, नाकामी रही है। उसके बाद कोई जो है कि कोई कट्टरवाद नहीं था, वो कोई किसी प्रकार के कोई संगठन से नहीं जुड़ा हुआ था, वो तो सीधा साधा स्वभाव का शांतिप्रिय आदमी था।
ये आज खरीद रो के ये मुर्गी में जो इनको पकड़ा जावे वो न्याय मिले।
Similar scenes of despair at the last rites of Home Guard Gursevak Singh, whose 4-year-old son lit his pyre, and a 26-year-old imam killed after a mosque was set on fire in Gurugram. This as isolated incidents of violence continue to be reported. At this small village near Nuh, the epicenter of the violence, there was attempted vandalism at 2 mosques by a mob of over 10 people. This was not just one religious structure that was where there was attempted vandalism, but another mosque, the Punjabi Mohalla Mosque here in Taudu. A similar incident was reported there as well, but no damage to the religious structure, no injury or death. But police deployment continues, and such isolated incidents of attempted vandalism, attempted violence are being witnessed still in parts of Haryana. The police, meanwhile, has finally begun to crack down on those spreading inflammatory videos on social media. Even though Monu Manesar, the cow vigilante who reportedly triggered the violence, is still at large. When we talk about social media crackdown, one question is that why has Monu Manesar not been arrested yet by the Haryana police?
We have kept a strict vigil over it, and all the culprits who have been involved in these incidents, they have been taken to the task. FIRs have been registered, and more than 20 people have been arrested. And we are in a process to identify some more culprits.
The over 160 people arrested by the police from across Haryana for inciting communal tensions were produced before a local court today, which sent 14 of them to judicial custody as the police gathers evidence against the accused. In Gurugram, peace seems to be returning, but the plight of migrant workers continues for people of all communities alike.
इलाका जा रहा हूँ, घर जा रहा हूँ, क्यों यहाँ तो हमारे पास कोई है ही नहीं, ऐसा कोई पुलिस वाला था ठीक है, लेकिन कितने टाइम तक रहेगा पुलिस? जितने टाइम पुलिस वाला है उतने टाइम
उम्मीद है कि वापस आ पाएंगे यहाँ पर? कभी कुछ अभी सोचा है कि?
इतनी तो डर हमारे अंदर है, अभी तो उम्मीद नहीं है जो हम लोग आएंगे।
हम तो बिहार से पंडित आदमी हूँ
जी,
फिर भी इन लोगों के साथ में रहने का डर लग रहा है, मैं भी रूम खाली करके भागूं।
An eerie silence in Haryana's Nuh, the epicenter of the violence that has gripped the state in the past couple of days. One thing that is clear is that whether it's the 6 victims who died in the communal violence or the hundreds of thousands of people whose livelihoods have been affected, this communal violence has not proven advantageous to any person of any community. In Nuh with camera person Manoj Thakur, Vedant for NDTV.
Shifting focus to Varanasi, and the Gyanvapi Mosque Committee has now gone to the Supreme Court challenging a High Court order today that gave a go-ahead for a scientific survey of the mosque complex. The Archaeological Survey of India team now plans to resume their survey of the mosque tomorrow morning. The Mosque Committee had challenged the survey of the mosque, which is next to the iconic Kashi Vishwanath temple in Varanasi. The High Court today said that the District Court order is just and proper and no interference is warranted. It also said the survey was necessary for justice. The SI survey had been ordered by Varanasi court on July 21st based on a petition by 4 women who claimed it was the only way to determine whether the landmark mosque was built after razing a Hindu temple. The Mosque Committee has now approached the Supreme Court. News now from Manipur, where even 3 months after violence, there seems to be no signs of tensions diffusing. While the Kuki Zomi groups have put their plans for a mass burial of 35 tribal victims of violence on hold. This after a request by the Home Minister. The Manipur High Court today also ordered status quo at an early morning hearing today as the Meiteis were opposed to this mass burial. There was also protests and clashes in Bishnupur. Here's a report.
No lasting peace in Manipur even after 3 months of ethnic conflict. Tear gas shells were fired by security forces after this massive mob build-up in the afternoon at the border of the Bishnupur and Churachandpur districts. This after Meitei groups objected to the plans by the Kuki Zomi civil society to organize a mass burial of 35 tribals killed in the conflict. On a plot of land, the Meiteis claimed theirs. Several people, including security forces, have been injured in the latest round of violence.
हम ये कर रहे हैं कि हमारे जो इनहिबिटेंट जगह है, पहले से हमारे पूर्वजों का जो इनहिबिटेंट जगह है, उसको हम सुरक्षा करने के लिए आ रहे हैं। हम लोग को तो ऐसे है, हम हमारे जो वही जगह में आज का जो क्रिमेटोरियम उसका लास्ट डे जो होने वाला, जो उसमें हम हमारे ये जगह है उसमें हम होने नहीं देगा। ये प्राइवेट लैंड है हमारा, तो उसमें हम होने नहीं देगा। इसीलिए हम ये बचाने के लिए आ रही थी और यहाँ में ये सिक्योरिटी का ये मामला हो रहा है।
People feel that the very area which they are trying to, conduct the burial site and they want to create the cemetery over there is a state land. And the immediate neighboring villages is going to be the Meitei in future.
The mob build-up and violence took place despite an unprecedented 6 a.m. hearing at the Manipur High Court, which asked all parties to maintain status quo on the land until the next hearing on August 9. Government sources indicated Union Home Minister Amit Shah himself intervened. His office burnt midnight oil to negotiate with the Kuki Zomi groups as well as Meitei civil society with the help of Manipur government, and sources also added that Mizoram Chief Minister Zoramthanga played a key role to get the tribals listened to center. In fact, MHA has asked for 7 days time to solve this issue about the last right of the victims of the violence at a time when one side has hardened its stance, its demand, and other side has hit the streets aggressively once again.
Since we will be delaying the burial, we requested to bring home all the dead bodies which are lying in Fal.
We are now postpone our burial ceremony, but today we have a condolence service. We trust, we hope, we put our hope to the central government. Their promise turned into action.
3 months after Manipur's ethnic clashes started, the situation appears as complicated as ever. With BM Sanju in Imphal, in Guwahati, Ratndeep Chaudhary for NDTV.
Finally, China's cyberspace regulators announced a proposal to curb smartphone use among children by requiring providers of smart devices to have a minor mode. This would limit usage by those under the age of 18 to almost around just 2 hours. Very ambitious program. Nayantara with the details.
China is now looking to curb smartphone time for all children, for everyone below the age of 18 to 2 hours or less than 2 hours a day. So the Chinese cyberspace regulator has said that it wants smartphone companies to introduce a new feature called the minor mode function that would govern how much time kids are able to spend on their phones. And this would differ according to different age brackets. So 2 hours a day for kids aged 16 to 18, 1 hour for kids aged 8 to 16, and only 8 minutes for kids below the age of 8. So they've also said they want to ban internet for kids between 10 p.m. at night and 6 a.m. in the morning as well. They've passed on the responsibility to enforce all these rules to the tech giants, to the companies who are making the smartphones, but they've also given parents the leeway under this proposal to override these time limit rules for their kids, making it a sort of optional case-by-case basis depending on the parents' discretion. This of course is just a proposal for now and it's open to public feedback, but interestingly it's coming very soon after they imposed a ban on children from video gaming, from online gaming for more than 3 hours a week back in 2021. This news has, of course, had a major impact on Chinese tech firms such as Alibaba and Bilibili, whose shares have fallen drastically after the news. Nayantara Singh for NDTV.